Hello friends! I need to discuss the latest news with you. Honestly, I'm laughing. Even as I prepared for the video, I was reading those comments and articles. America, thanks to its organization that gave us grants, it's called USAID, well, they just stopped all funding completely. You likely read about this recently. Was it predictable? For me? Yes, moreover, I personally pushed for this, to deprive those leftover leftists, all that filth, of any money, any means of existence. Because money should be earned, not given away by leftists to all sorts of scoundrels who, in fact, and we'll get into this in detail very thoroughly right now, they were working to destroy Ukraine. Well, let's go step by step. Let's take a step back. For more than 10 years, various anti-corruption projects have been funded, including through this organization. I won't even list them all. Well, you know those Bihusi, all the Ukrainska Pravda and such? Tell me please, Radio Svoboda, that's different. We'll discuss it later. Has there been less corruption in Ukraine? No, there's actually more. But I'll say it again. For more than 10 years, they've been stuffing and filling everything with all sorts of investigations, staking out places at night. This one's bad, that one's bad. Let's replace the bad one with a good one. And all of this keeps happening. And in Ukraine, not only does nothing change, it only changes for the worse. That's not today's topic. Fighting corruption is absurd. You must address its causes, but we won't discuss that now. Now I want to read out just a few of the expense items of this organization so you can judge for yourself. I repeat, just a few of them. Take a look. Petrinka hosts a YouTube talk show called About. So I went and checked out this YouTube channel. Do you know what it's about? Well, first of all the people close to the president's office are there. All this nasty, sneaky crowd that's involved in propaganda and embezzlement. And the cuckoo praises the rooster for praising the cuckoo. They invite each other for interviews and discuss all sorts of nonsense. For example, one video is about how to choose sex toys. What is this supposed to be? Have you all lost your minds? This is what American taxpayers' money should go toward. These people should be brought to America and shown how hard people work. In big cities, people are stuck in traffic jams starting at 6 in the morning. Why? It's hard to earn money here because everything is expensive. I have always respected any kind of work and any profession, and I can especially confirm to you that America was built on hard work. Not on empty talk or grants, but on hard work. And that's what Ukraine and Ukrainians need to learn. First, to respect success, and second, to respect hard work. But here only all sorts of disgusting propaganda are spared, the ones who sing in unison with the current regime. Well, we'll get to all of that soon. Let's move on. Support for the music band Tvorche in creating songs and performing at concerts in selected locations in Ukraine. What is this anyway? Well, there's a market. If you're a musician and you consider yourself talented, record on TikTok, record on YouTube, if you're worth anything. I'll say it again. If you have talent, someone will notice you. Someone will take an interest in you. At the very least, the audience will appreciate you at first. No, give us a grant. You give a grant to a music group, but someone is working hard here in America right now. Tell me, write in the comments, do you think that's fair? Should we continue? The public organization Zmini, also known as Don't Take Fake, is a prominent influential figure and supporter of the electronic music scene, with previous experience organizing major cultural events, including the first camp for electronic musicians. Why am I reading this? Can you please tell me what kind of nonsense this is? Some kind of support for holding a series of cultural events during the summer season? A mural has been created in the courtyard on Kuznechny. Support from the company Film Ukraine in the production of a documentary film called Taisto Research, introductory meetings with the team of creators of the television series Trip to Vienna. Support for the Ukrainian producer Tetiana Postavna and media personality Volodymyr Dantes in creating a reality show. Restoration of cultural spaces in frontline settlements and recently liberated areas. Do you know what that is? These are people close to Zelensky's circle. People like Dante make money and get exemptions this way, and now this Dante is shining everywhere. And there they all are, this whole pack of propagandists like Lachenko and others, all this filth, all this scum, and he's always there. At a time when guys your age are dying at the front, fighting, you're working for the regime, for the green regime, you're making money. But I can't even call it earning because you're a nobody and you've sold your worthless conscience. And yet you still get that money. And there are others croaking along saying this one is at the front, that one isn't at the front. You hear this everywhere, all these Granteaters. They're the most aggressive when it comes to sending someone to the front. They aren't there themselves, but they always pretend to be great volunteers, talking about how they're doing extremely important things. Let me finish reading before we continue. The first College Project episode and the second season of Ukrainian Executioners, Golden Kindness are out. I don't even want to keep reading this filth. This is funded by American taxpayers. This is a madhouse. It's insane. Anyone would envy such a scenario. Even after losing their funding, they still go all over social media complaining about how terrible and wrong everything is. Go to the market, you need to be worth something. I want to say, I'm not a blogger, I'm not a journalist, I'm not a media person. I've never been on national television for even a second. Driven by a heartfelt impulse and ideology, I created a YouTube channel that today, in less than 3 years, has 256,000 subscribers. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and like right now and check out my views. I'm being modest. This isn't my lifelong pursuit or job. I don't spend all day making video streams. I just do it when I feel like it and have a topic. I go live weekly and make 1 or 2 videos, usually an ideological one or a translation from Haver, Milei, Musk or Trump for people to watch. People think they're journalists, professional media people or whatever else, and yet they've got nothing. I'll show you on the screen. Their views are 0 even with grants. How can these talentless media outlets exist? You either offer value to sell or rely on subscriber donations. That applies to modern technology today, but here it's different. You won't have enough, and it's not only due to lack of talent. They're neither businessmen nor entrepreneurs. They can't organize or optimize. They got a grant, hired staff, spent a lot, and now everyone is just having fun. I've seen some use that money to buy cars and volunteer at the front making repeated trips. Photos, publicity, that's it. But if Ukraine's future is built on this kind of thing, we won't get anywhere. I'm telling you that. And you know what's also remarkable? People have organized themselves well around this because Poroshenko's and Zelensky's ideologies are no different. And both Poroshenko's people and the opposition, they're all singing in unison together. What scoundrels! How bad they are for taking away the grants, and those who are happy about it, here's the general thesis. They immediately threw out this idea. Those who are happy and think it's right to cancel the grants. They call anyone not with them a coward. If you aren't a grant recipient, you're a coward. I told you about these fighters at the beginning. Fighting corruption that way doesn't work. In Ukraine, you need the right ideology, a department, and reduced government spending. That's the whole anti-corruption effort. The recipe is simple. They don't need or want to fix any corruption. They just want to exploit it. Why did all these Granteaters unite? Poroshenko's people and others. Niezhitsky's nonsense is just embarrassing. Someone points out why it's wrong, and he replies, "Even if it is, it's American money, so be quiet and we'll split it. It's not state money, it's ours." These people are crazy. This is a mafia of Granteaters. You can't break in. If you're watching and thinking you'll become one, you won't succeed. It's a whole mafia, this entire story, and they're all dancing around it together. Because I'll repeat for the 100th time today, they're not capable of anything, they can't compete professionally, they're nothing special, and they can't make money. All they can do is suck up in the media. To one, to another, to a third. That's, like media escorts, those are expensive. Well, all the names like the ones with shaved heads, and these are more local, media local. I'll tell you even more than that. The Olena Zelenska Foundation, the president's wife, it turns out, was also funded by this organization. But then everywhere we go, people talk about public relations shows for the Pripyat. The lady is gone, they're funded by United States taxpayers, and you're just using this for public relations and ratings. So now, look at what we have. In the end, a large part is financed by United States Agency for International Development or United States Agency for Global Media. There's also one called Radio Liberty. I'm talking about Portnikov separately. There's still a greeting waiting for them ahead. For example, Zelensky is using state funds for his girlfriend or godmother. Who is Olena Kravets to him? That talentless show cost $1 million. The Dom channel, or Dim, what's it called? They don't have any views on YouTube at all. They even pay for advertising. There are 3.5 comments under the video, 4.5 views. Nobody needs this, it's all just a scheme. There are people close to the leaders, so to speak, and they need something to eat, not just anything. They want caviar, black, red, a nice car. So here, give them something to do. And do you think Zelensky stayed out of it? Listen to what he said in a recent video address.
Today, I instructed government officials to report on those American support programs that are currently suspended. These are humanitarian programs. Oleksiy Kuleba and other officials are determining which programs are currently lacking. Almost all of them were not channeled through the Ukrainian government, but directly through our communities and various organizations. We will identify many projects, which of them are critical and require solutions. Right now, we can provide part of such funding through our state finances, and we will discuss part of it with Europeans and Americans. This concerns many areas, from communications and digitalization to support for veterans, schools, hospitals, and reconstruction. Of course, the details of the programs were not a matter of state.
By the way, I'll give you some insight about this now. He says, we will thoroughly check everything now, and we will finance what is critical. No, I don't mean to say that United States Agency for International Development only financed media or district projects. They also finance some necessary things there. By the way, according to my information, there are also people who figure out how to siphon off this money, and it turns out that's someone's profit. But that's not the point right now. Let the head of the American FBI and Musk from the State Department deal with that later. But here's another question. Brussels already wants to open a government account for someone, money, already in Europe saying you also have a lot of funds, so you should get involved in this. And you know, this Brussels Levasheva will get involved, of course, on a smaller scale since there isn't as much money as in America, and all of this will keep going on. I'll tell you even more. These media outlets, some of them are already trying to become paid, and some are just shedding crocodile tears. Please fund us or we'll shut down and you won't have our support. According to my information, they've already received unofficial offers from the president's office. And no, it's not about funding them from the state budget. Crypto wallet, crypto, I've heard there's $200,000 a month for the editorial team. Some were offered, but only if you tell everyone that Zelensky is the greatest czar, just a super leader. And you have to fight to the end. Everyone will get their exemption. Fight to the end, basically. Fight until Zelensky says to stop, and he will never say to stop, because war is the only thing keeping him in power. So people tell me, what should we do about all this? You see, it's not even that someone exposed it. Life itself, the right way of life, the right president, Trump, came to the United States. He begins harming the living in ways no one would want for Ukraine, saying it's impossible. For us, all of this is possible if the right person with the right ideology, or at least with some ideology, comes along. All of this is possible, and it will work for us in the same way. And then everything fell apart. Because there's nothing behind it, just easy money. Praise the leader? Do you think they only took money from USAID? They also took money from the president's office, Americans, those people and others? I have a simple question as proof. I can't call my channel big now, but it's not small either. It's also still new. No, I'm a political immigrant. This is my story. You saw me on the air of one of these channels, or any channels really, but these ones in this case. So you bastards take money from the Americans. You've probably never even seen the United States Declaration of Independence, which was written by the founders themselves. You don't know the United States Constitution, not the First or the Second Amendment. The fundamental things on which both America and all of Western civilization were built. First and foremost, freedom of speech, which is the foundation of democracy. That's radio liberty. I already talked about this when I made a video about Portnikov. It was created to give a voice to dissidents, to fight against socialism, and to break through the wall of authoritarianism, reaching people's minds and ears. They laugh about Zelensky sending the security service of Ukraine after them. And now my mother is being prosecuted in Ukraine for reposting my video, and not a single one of these so-called media outlets gave me a voice. I can't even call them media, not a single one, but they still want American money. You should be funded by Iran, China, and North Korea. And by Russia too, because you're promoting this kind of ideology. By the way, you'll gladly take rubles when times change. I'm more than sure you won't turn down anything. You'll say I'm wrong, that what I'm saying now isn't right, but fundamentally, conceptually, no, this is the plain truth. Just watch. Someone will take crypto wallets and cryptocurrency, but the editorial offices will keep running. Some will openly switch to government grants, while others will choose grants from the European Union. America won't give anything else and will tighten other channels even more. And it's important to shut down this very Radio Svoboda, where those rats with Portnikov sat and mocked how Opposition members are being taken to court, not just attempts, but real cases. They find it amusing, refuse to cover it, and won't let me speak at all. So that's what these Granteaters are like. All you have left is a tasty candy, so suck on it with great pleasure. By the way, Roshen, you see, even in America I buy Roshen tasty candies. What Poroshenko makes is good, these are candies. In politics, he doesn't succeed at all, and the Granteaters are also giving him a hard time. Crocodile tears. In the end, freedom of speech will win and nothing will work out for you. That's why Elon Musk bought the platform. You all know the name, by the way. Be sure to follow me there and on Telegram and here. And once again, freedom of speech is the foundation of democracy. Thank you to everyone who watched this video until the end. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Bye.